What's happening, guys? Welcome to the Poker Pals podcast. I'm here with a special guest, and her name is Ivonne Montealegre. She is the SiGMA Poker Tour manager and the founder of the Malta Poker Festival. Yvonne, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Hello, Lucas. I'm very happy to be with you today.
I thank you for coming on. I know that shout out to your new podcast as well, the SiGMA Poker Face podcast. Is that what it's called?
Yes, that you were my first guest. We are preparing the other chapters. We just moved offices, so we're making a new studio. So that's why this month we didn't have an episode, but I am super thrilled of the coming episodes.
And where can people find that on what kind of social
The
media channels or
podcast, you can
YouTube?
find it on the Sigma Poker Tour page on the web. And it's there, Poker Face, and you click on it, and we have the first episode with you that came super nice. You gave us your own poker story, and I couldn't love it more. It's full of family, tradition, and love for the game, and a lot of discipline, of course.
Well, that's why I wanted to have you on today because we talked a lot about me, but we didn't talk a lot about you. And I wanted to, this is why I want to do this podcast to actually get people on in the poker industry that I'm like friends with or that have kind of like obviously are so important people in the poker industry, but actually aren't the face of things. They are just obviously run everything and people don't really know about them. So that's why I wanted to get you on today. Um, Before we get onto in terms of like know more about you, the main thing that we want to kind of be on here to promote that is coming up in the few weeks is the SiGMA Poker Tour Brazil in Sao Paulo.
Yes.
If you want to just explain to people what the SiGMA Poker Tour is, because it's a very new thing, and what is coming up in terms of the events in Sao Paulo and Malta.
Absolutely. So basically, the Sigma group is dedicated to bringing live conferences for the gaming sphere, for the gaming industry. So you go to Sigma, and it's a big stadium or conference area, expo center in many cities around the world,
But
and
so
the
just
online
because
operate.
sorry to interrupt you, Yvonne. I know what Sigma is, but for those that don't know, because for me Sigma is a massive name. That's why I was so proud to be a Sigma ambassador. But those that don't know Sigma, what is Sigma?
SIG stands for I don't know. I have to look it.
Not in terms of what it stands for, but what is the event? Because I knew
Yeah,
Sigma when
yeah.
you came to me
It's
about
this
being an
big.
ambassador. I
They
knew
are
it as the big
conference
conferences.
conferences hosted all around the world, where online operators or even land-based have booths to showcase their product. So, for example, even bet we have a very big booth waiting for affiliates to come. There's a lot of networking, business. There's a lot of entertainment. There's a lot of learning because they host on the stage um, fireside chats and panel expos. I myself run the poker panel expo to make sure people learn about what online poker is, what the industry is doing, what are the latest dramas and controversies in the poker industry. That is one of the most controversial industries in the gaming industry. So yeah, that Sigma does that, those conferences, and they do them all over the world. They started doing them in Malta, but they do in Budapest, Brazil, Sri Lanka, Cape Town. Every big city in the world almost has a Sigma a conference. So for years, the Sigma owner and founder, Emmanuel Pulis, has been interested in the poker industry and poker vertical, and he's been talking to me until last year. It was the 10th year anniversary of these conferences. He talked to me and he said, well, I think we're ready to get into the poker vertical. Let's do it. And I admire this company a lot because they are super organized. It's full of young people. I'm here in a sound booth, the The offices are like Google style offices. It's a very, very young uh, environment. So I thought this great for me. It would be so much fun to work with these guys. And it is. Like I am in love with all my colleagues. I find them so clever, so smart, from the social media people to the events logistics people. And the environment is beautiful. Everyone is here to make each other succeed. And you can kind of feel that. Everyone is even very excited that you're our ambassador and they're very familiar with you and they say, how's Lucas? Say hi to Lucas. So I find it lovely. Like what we're doing is excites me a lot. So we are plugging in a poker tour with the major conferences, right? And this year, 2025, we started with Brazil and Malta. But 2026 comes with Manila. They want to do a poker tour in almost every big city that the conference travels to. So the great, super fun aspect of this is that yeah, it's poker, but it's gonna be a lot of networking, plugged in. Imagine that if you buy in directly for the main event, which is $770, um, you get MMA, mixed martial arts tickets. You get dinners. You get networking events. You get parties. You open a ticket online and you basically check what you want and what you don't, including an MMA fight that I've been and I'm a huge fan. I love
Yeah,
the
yeah,
M.
I'm the same. I'm the same. Yeah, I'm super excited for that. So basically, so you're not just because obviously everyone knows. For me, I'm super excited to play in Brazil. Like it was one of my bucket list stuff because when I play online, Brazilian poker players are everywhere, and Brazilian poker players are the hardest to play against because they are super aggressive. They are like every time I see someone like three bet me, and I look at they've got a Brazil flag. I'm like, right, I'm gonna four bet them more because I know they're just like three betting like a lot and they're just super hard to play against. So I'm really excited to play in Brazil. But it sounds like you don't just buy a package and you only get main event buy-ins, which you do in other tours. You then get the experiences to go along with the poker.
This is the most complete experience I've ever crafted for poker players. Like it's got so many activities you can choose from that you won't be able to do them all. You can choose. You're spoiled for choice on what you can do. And paired with the poker, we have the SiGMA Foundation. And the SiGMA Foundation, I am extremely passionate about because we're raising funds for a lot of interesting, great things all over the world. For example, in Rio, we're building a school in the middle of a favela. There's also a mixed martial arts center for the youth. So imagine how important to go to a country and host a poker event, but a lot of the proceeds go to the SiGMA Foundation that in every country have their projects. So it's even more exciting. I've always wanted to do something like this. So it didn't took too much convincing for me to join. Like SiGMA Foundation, poker, I mean, and the amazing team of people I have here, very talented. Our ambassadors, very talented, very eager to work. Everyone is very focused.
I didn't know about the Sigma Foundation. I had a podcast with a with an ex YouTuber. It's yet to come out actually, and we both sounded in a similar spot of like she was doing YouTube like the OG YouTube, but she kind of like it was kind of almost going against her soul like that. She didn't want to go to these parties with celebrities and stuff like that. But what she did, she created the content to help people, and she was very open with like mental health and like helping her audience. And that's the same for me. Like, I love playing poker, but I do feel like the only thing missing right now is for me to like help people. I really love helping people. So
Well,
I
you
didn't know about the
are.
Sigma Foundation, and
Yes, you
that's
are.
another thing that I've always wanted to like get into. And in how can we how can I like play this game for a living, which is fun and people enjoy, and obviously people like watching me and stuff and creating content, but how can I give back to like I see people like Mr. Beast, for instance, and he does videos of like helping people in Africa, and I'm like, you know what, I would love to do that in the future. So the fact that yeah, we've got the SiGMA Foundation, which I didn't know
Yes,
about,
you
is
are
even more
doing
of
it
a
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, it's
You are
great.
doing it right now. We are doing it right now. Every little helps.
Yeah.
Just recently, we made a poker tournament with Poker Stars. Poker Stars was so generous. They donated Neymar Jr. Signed shirts, a beautiful gaming chair, and we managed to send a donation to a beautiful farm in Kosovo, outskirts of Malta. It's another island, very little island that has these horses that needed to be rehabilitated. So we did a poker. And I think that's very uplifting. That really makes me happy because in an industry that can be controversial and a bit rough at times, we are managing to get that silver lining of the SiGMA Foundation and a lot of charitable projects. And I mean, the amount of money we gather is significant. I mean, obviously, the SiGMA Foundation gets a lot of donations from even really famous streamers. I've seen incredible gestures, donations, and um, from casinos, online casinos that have a very wealthy economy. They donate as well to the SiGMA Foundation. And being able to plug that in into the poker tournament is fabulous.
Yeah.
So,
Like
yeah,
you
I'm
said
looking
with poker, it's like there is a lot of controversy. There's a lot of even like obviously we won't name names, but big poker sites that do not so good things with poker and the ambassadors of poker that are seen to be the cheating or like we don't need to get into that because I just don't like speaking about that. But that's why for me, like I want to be an ambassador of poker where like people can trust people like is good for the game is giving back is doing good things, and that's why for me I love working with poker news because they're the same, but like brands like poker stars like you said, but also this sigma poker tour, and obviously working with you, working with sigma as a brand, like I think that's where that's why I wanted to do this podcast, to bring people like you, and people can like learn more about people like you, because it maybe gets lost in like it's same with anything. Like you look at the news is just full of just like negativity and obviously bad news. It's not necessarily like good news, and obviously the bad news get like outshines the good news. So I think that's the case in most industries. But if we can try and bring good light to this, to a beautiful industry which poker is, and try and outshine the negativity and try and outshine the controversy, then I think that can only be a good thing.
exactly. It's a beautiful industry. I mean, my best friends come from the poker industry, and I actually my close friends play poker because that's my life, and it's so enjoyable to travel abroad with my friends and play poker. I mean, we love to do that, and we share experiences over talking about cards, not talking bad about people.
Yeah,
So I find that
exactly.
poker like a meta language where you can socialize and avoid not talking about people or talking about negative stuff. There's a lot of negative stuff. And it's so nice to move past that. Our industry needs lobbying big time. I can't understand that just last year or 2 years ago, poker was declared a mental game, which is a great step for all of us. But still, there are misconceptions about poker and gambling, and actually, organizers like myself, problematic players are not my target at all. That we want actually people that can afford an entry and enjoy also when they bust, having a nice dinner with the community. That's the kind of poker I like, and the kind of poker that we uh, our ethos, our ethical core product is both for Malta Poker Festival and SiGMA. I am very careful that that's for sure what we want. That's why you see in my tournaments a limited amount of reentries. We don't let people re-enter too much. We are monitoring also a bit the mental health of people while they're playing. If we don't feel that they're in a good place, or we will have a talk with them. So there's this aspect always that we are safeguarding. because it's good for all of us, for all the community. We need a healthy community. And as you said, also positivity. I've been a woman in poker all my life. I mean, since I'm 17, 18 years, I've been in poker. And it makes me really sad that there's not too many people, too many women playing as much as I had expected in a 25-year career. Actually, the percentage has gone down. There was a year, I think it was 2010 or something like that, that we had 10% female attendance on live events. And now it's 3 to 5% in events that are not women events, right? So I find that topic also uh, something that drives me a lot in my life
Yeah.
because I find that as a woman, we've been procrastinating a little bit and not learning um, skills to be less risk averse. We are completely risk averse as females. We're taught, conditioned, etc. And I find that very worrying because if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to go all in sometimes. For
Mm.
example, Costa Rica Poker Festival. I just built a new poker tour and I put all my savings on the line. I kid you not. And yeah, I mean, if you're not gonna gamble on yourself, who are you gonna gamble on, right? Or if you're not gonna believe in yourself, who is going to believe it? Definitely not external people. So I loved it, and I thought that this was exactly an example risk aversity that you will be like, oh no, oh, I'm not gonna invest this. I'm gonna play it safe, keep my job, do this. Sometimes if you have a good idea, a good product, and you want to, make it global and so on, you have to risk. And I think poker teaches us that you have to you
Mhm.
have to be risk, control risk and all. But as I said, if you're not going to believe in yourself and the the chips for yourself, who's gonna do it? Like you can't wait passively in life for people to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. So so I built Costa Rica Poker Festival. Malta Poker Festival is incredible as well. It's my pride and joy because the community that is being built around Malta Poker Festival is great. People tell me, why don't you raise the guarantees, in all events and start that little war with our competitors? And to be honest with you, I couldn't care less. People know what we stand for. We are a super integrity operation. Everybody gets paid to the dot. Actually, in terms of payment processing, Tomaso is doing great. I mean, everybody gets paid bank wire, whatever they want, And for example, now in Vegas, they only give you cash. They take a lot of taxes from the players. So I truly feel that Malta is a great location. And with the Malta Festival, we have um, tackled an operation that right now is working so smooth. That's why I was able to also take SiGMA. And now with SiGMA, yeah, with SiGMA, we're all I am impressed that I thought, for me doing 5 tours a year, it's really something, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
have 3 little boys and they need me and I'm away from home a lot but if you put the stage and you put the platform, the players come. This is beautiful that I've felt the support of players during Costa Rica Poker Festival last January. I kid you not. I was looking at that hall, that conference room, and I was thinking, oh my God, no one's going to show up. In such a difficult location, no one will come. What happens if I have 3 tables? I will be letting down my partner, the casino, the Sheraton hotel, the dealers, all this stuff. It's a lot of pressure, and I was actually, at some point having this kind of nervousness the night before, the calm before the storm. I looked at the room and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to disappoint a lot of people. And next day 1A happened and people came coming in. We reached 600 players. And we gave dealers and floor staff a really nice bonus.
Hmm.
So that also, that's part of the things that
Yeah.
make you as a person. It's not about money anymore for me. Like
Hmm.
it's a lot about people, about providing people with jobs. For example, in Malta, twice a year, the dealers know that there's this bonus time. They work hard. They work 12 hours a day, but then they have, this steady income twice a year that makes them do things. One time a dealer said, Malta Poker Festival is coming. Time for a new kitchen. And I really loved it. I loved it. I love that. That makes me very proud to think that a product I conceived in my head 5 years on the line has an impact in the economy of the Maltese island. It's beautiful, of the dealers, floor, casino, even the supermarket around the corner gets full with players buying nice players and the bars. And so I think that's a beautiful, beautiful aspect of a live event like World of Poker Festival, that it's growing and growing and growing, but it's very organic. It's
I
the
was I
word
was
of
going to
mouth.
ask you how did you start Malta Poker Festival? How did you kind of get into, like, because how do you even, like, how does it start? How do you start with, like, the idea of doing a poker event, and then how do you even create a poker event? Like, how did that start?
Yeah. Well, keep in mind that Malta Poker Festival is not my first rodeo. I come from Costa Rica. I'm Costa Rican. And I come in the early 2000s, incipient internet. Um, and I come with this idea to make Punta Cana Poker Classic with what was America's card, but it was Doyle's Room Bookmaker. So I tell these guys, listen, let's do this tournament. And this tournament, in a matter of 4 years, exploded because all the Americans that don't have anywhere to play except Vegas, but for people in Miami to go to Vegas, it's a very expensive trip. Instead, we developed Punta Cana, so they would come to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So this tournament was my first experience where a tournament really blew up. Like we started with 100K guaranteed, and by the end of 4 years, it was a million or something. It went really well.
So how
But
did you
then,
get into poker from, like, obviously, were you how did you get into poker originally in Costa Rica, and then what were you doing for a job, like, to then get into creating it? Because obviously I'm into poker, I'm a poker player, but I wouldn't know where to start with creating a live poker event. So maybe just go back a
yeah,
little bit in time, and, like, how did you get into
absolutely,
poker in Costa Rica, and then that led you then to create an event?
absolutely. Well, I got in poker because of my mom. Um, yeah, I just came from Spain. I had a master's degree in psychoanalysis, and I started to get my own private clinic, but I didn't like it. It was not my thing. Like I don't know, praise to psychoanalysts because it's one of the hardest jobs. Like I couldn't distance myself. I'm a very empathic person, so I was finding that, hearing these problems all day, and I couldn't even find solutions from the public governmental side. So I was this enamored of the craft. And then my mom told me, listen, I just put the carpet, she's an interior designer. I just put the carpet for these clients. And they told me they needed someone like me. But my mom doesn't speak English. So they were like, don't you, we would love to have you, but you don't speak English, but you would be great to host our affiliate managers and do events. And then my mom said, why don't you apply for this job? And I said, Mom, I'm an academic. I just came 6 years from studying, you know, gambling. And the rest is history. I loved it with passion. So I started building poker tournaments, smaller ones. And then when I discovered that I could also ask these companies for money for my charity projects, I was making more change with the capitalistic poker industry than what I could do in my practice with the government. So this was also something that I liked. That wow, that you can really be change wherever you are. It's just a little bit the mindset and what you want to do.
Because that must be
I
hard,
mean,
like
so
doing a master's and like studying in something. Because my fiance had that recently where she spent years of practicing with eyelash extensions and then she just wasn't enjoying it anymore. But she was like, no, I have to keep doing it because I've trained so hard and I've done it for years now. Like I'm good at it. But I was like, yeah, but in life, like if something's going against kind of your soul, if you're not enjoying it, you don't have to do it. Like you live one life, and then now she's obviously into video editing, and she's really good at that. And now she's not only really good, she really enjoys it. So it sounds like you were the same way. You done this master's degree, was that hard to kind of like, well, it sounds like you got obviously an opportunity to kind of change things, but like for those that are doing something right now in life, like a job where they've maybe got a master's or a degree, but they're just not enjoying it, what would you recommend for them to just kind
well,
of
look,
try new
poker
things?
can definitely be applied to life because that means you're a little bit pot committed. Don't be pot committed. Walk away anytime. And I've always had that freedom, luckily. I've never felt, I mean, obviously situations are situations. So now, 3 kids, I cannot be jumping my parachute every time I want because I have responsibilities. But when I was younger, I was able to walk away from anything I wanted and just pursue what really made me happy. And that's what I did. And then I came to Europe and I built Battle of Malta with my partners. But then that didn't, the company was acquired and it was an acquisition mess. So I walked away and I stayed in Porto Maso and I said, I'm going to build it from scratch again, but this time under my own terms. And I am super proud of that decision because Battle of Malta took me 10 years to
Wow.
build it where when they bought it, Battle of Malta was a household name already. Um, from that time when I went to those offices and I said Battle of Malta, and they started laughing. Oh my God. Poker tours have to be serious. What are these trophies? Like nights, it's crazy. This girl doesn't know what she's talking about. And then turning that into a household name in 10 years was amazing. But I walked away from all of it with
Does
my laptop and another idea, and I stayed with Portomas. And now I'm so proud of what we are accomplishing because I think it's the best poker operation on the island, for sure.
100%. But when you were
And
talking about
also,
before about it having like a fun vibe and like it's not where like you want people to have a good time, like with before even knowing you, before even coming to Malta, like Malta Poker Festival I constantly heard was just an event you've got to go and play, and it's just a fun event to go and just go with friends and just have a good time in Malta. So obviously when I moved I was like, right, I really want to play that. And then obviously that's when we obviously had mutual friends that we connected with and stuff like that. But that's, yeah, even before I moved to Malta, that's what I heard of the reputation of Malta Poker Festival.
I love to hear that. Exactly. And now also because the event is getting so big, the price pools are considerable, right? So for less than 100 euros, 100, 200, the main event is 550. And that's the max. And there's a high roller of 1K, but it's pretty affordable. I mean, you can play the whole series with 1,000 euros. Like you play one main event and 3 other events even. Um, and it's very affordable, but the price pools are getting bigger. And it's fun. Still, it's really, really fun. I've been to these tournaments where you have a lot of pros with the headset and hoodie. You can't see anything of the person. There's not a social event. It's a grinding event. And no, the tournaments I run are for recreational players. We love pros. And it's so much fun to see pros at the table, but I love it when a recreational player has the time of their life. And you know that in poker, over a week, you can have so much good time when it's so exciting when you bag your chips and then you go to day two and then you go
Yeah.
to day three and then you're so close to the final table. I mean, it's a feeling I want everyone to enjoy, right? Those of us that love this game. And SiGMA is exactly like that. And it's going to be like that. Our first event is coming April 7th to April 14th. And I think one of the key aspects is that we're going to have influencers and ambassadors like yourself, beautiful, interesting people in poker on the tables playing with all the recreational players. So I think that's super exciting. Imagine sitting down on the table with you and learning some tricks, or maybe winning a hand against you,
Mhm.
maybe bluffing you. Those things are exciting. So I think that we have John Arne Rees, there's a footballer legend. We have you, we have Drea Carlsen, we have John Vlogs, that is a young streamer influencer in Brazil with millions of followers.
Yeah, he's
John
massive.
has like 8 million followers. He's living the life of limousines, private jets. That's the kind of
Mhm.
influencer he is. And to sit down at the tables with him should be very fun, very, very fun. We also have a lot of Brazilian streamers that are coming. So I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of fun content also for those watching at home. We're going to televise the tables. The SiGMA Divas, which is the latest event, will be live streamed. The main event will be live streamed. There's going to be an opportunity to meet and greet you and John, Arne Rees, and Drea, and so I think it's going to be really, really fun. We're gonna treat everybody super nice. And the club is amazing.
Is
The
it?
Monte Carlo Club, shout out to my family at Monte Carlo. I recently went there to do the inspection visit, and I lived in Monte Carlo Club for 6 days. I wouldn't go out. The food is incredible.
Is it?
The food is fantastic. The food is fantastic. So you have open food and bar 24/7. Can
Wow,
you believe that?
that's amazing.
And the food is like, the meat in Brazil is incredible.
That's why I'm
And yeah,
dieting. I've been dieting to try and go there because I know if it's yeah, I just want to try as many because we're going to Rio before Sao Paulo, so I just want to try as much Brazilian food as possible.
yeah. Imagine how food oriented I am. I'm playing poker and they're like, "Are you going to ribeye?" And I'm like, "No, picanha for me, please." I'm just thinking about the food.
That's what's so
So
good though. Like
yeah,
that's as much as I love like Vegas, like WSOP. Like let's say you bust the tournament, and yeah, you're on the strip, but like it is just super expensive to like go and like get food and like travel and stuff. So like the fact that you've got a place where if you do bust, and like that's my when I bust and I've got a bad beat, my thing is just comfort food. Like I'll just go and eat.
well, you can find a lot of comfort food in that club. Yeah, they open 24/7 and there's food everywhere. And they place it, shout out to Bruno, the chef, food and beverage. Bruno makes sure that it's like, the spread is like a wedding spread. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, like decoration. So, I mean, how can I not be in love with my partners in Brazil? Yes,
Hello,
I'm here now. Thank you.
hello, hello.
Thank you.
And let me just do a little timestamp for that. Just to remove that. Yeah, so we are talking about the obviously the event in Sao Paulo. So what are your like how because I already feel like it's gonna be a completely unique experience for me, and I've gone to a lot of Poker Live events. How do you feel like it'll be different to other poker events that either you've ran or that you've attended?
I mean, the location, Sao Paulo is a beautiful city. And we are unlike other tours that you want people to stay on the venue. It's going to be very mobile. Like there's the MMA fight. We're doing a school opening. I mean, it's really a friendly gathering event, united by the bond of poker. But I don't know how we're going to have time to do so many things
It depends how deep you're running in the main
as
event, isn't
well,
it?
but everything is synced so that you can actually do everything. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's lots of fun. 250K guaranteed, which is a big, big prize pool for an inaugural event. Yeah, I'm expecting it to be really, really fun. I want people to have the best of times and to just you know, make a mark of something different, something different. That's what we want to do, something very different. Not the classic poker tournament where people are like only focused on the money aspect. We want a highly networking event. Um, and also there's
I think that's why you've done well in terms, when you talked about pros going there, and obviously like pros like sunglasses, headphones, like taking it really serious. I think that's where, like, for me, like you saw in Game of Gold, like I knew when I was on Game of Gold, I knew actually the best way for me to have won would have been to put sunglasses on, put a hoodie on, not speak to like Daniel Negreanu, who's the best at getting tells right. But I wanted to have fun. Like I wanna be known as, that's just who I am. I wanna be an ambassador for the game, that you go and have fun, like that people can guarantee that if they meet me at the event in Sao Paulo or they're at the table, that we're having fun. You know what I mean?
yes,
And that's where I think you've done really well in getting ambassadors, like fun ambassadors, streamers, influencers, rather than obviously kind of maybe bigger name poker pros, because obviously there is some very fun bigger name poker pros, like I just said, like Daniel Negreanu and stuff, but professional poker players that aren't content creators or influencers do just go to events to make the most money because they are very good poker players, right? But if you're creating an event like this where the main aspect is just like community and having fun and having a good time,
exactly.
I think then influencers is the way to have done it.
Exactly. I mean, that's the road I'm taking in my tournaments. That's the road. But everybody has their own. I mean, how exciting also to play a Triton. Wow. But the atmosphere is
Yeah.
completely different. And this is something
Yeah.
I do events for recreational players. We have a lot of focus on women in poker as well. We're having a ladies event called SiGMA Divas, just to have fun with all the
That's
ladies
great.
and provide a safe platform so they can jump into higher games as well. That
My girlfriend, my fiance's never played a poker event, so I'll need you to convince
yes,
her to play that
she
event,
has to play that
because
one.
she's obviously now into poker with editing, but she's never really played. We played one time and she says she beat me. So yeah, so even just that, like I feel like she wouldn't be comfortable playing a normal event, but the fact that there'll be obviously a women's only event, that then they'll obviously welcome her, they'll be able to like show her what to do, kind of what not to do, because it is intimidating. I remember when I first played live poker and I was used to playing online, you go and play live and it's not all automatically done for you. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, I
you
mean,
you need to put the chips in the middle. Obviously look at the cards. You need to wait until it's to your
just
turn. So
sitting down at the table can be an anxiety trigger. I mean, I consider myself a confident woman, but keep this in mind. You enter a big space and there's no women almost. There's two women that you can barely distinguish and all the eyes on you. It's really threatening. So sometimes people that don't understand why we need women only events, they're a little bit tone deaf because it's not
yeah,
that we're getting any kind of advantage. No, it's to make women feel safe enough so they can jump into the mixed games, all gender games. Uh,
yeah,
Normally, they have a lower buy-in as well. And also, the atmosphere is a little bit to help them understand the game. It's like a training session, kind of. Although women are taking it very seriously, women's events, which I really like. But it's for that reason. It's to create an environment that feels safe and comfortable. I mean, I don't want to delve in the negativity, but I mean, even I have been insulted at the poker tables, go back to the kitchen, all that kind of stuff. When you
yeah.
win a hand, it's real. So whoever that says
It
that,
it is, and like it's disgusting because everyone I spoke to, even when I spoke to like Maria Ho, when I was in Korea with her doing Game of Gold, like even she's experienced it, and
exactly,
she's like the most known, the most respected like woman in poker, and so like it is real, and people do need to speak about it, and that's why I want to obviously get on this podcast. I want to speak about these things because I now have like I have obviously my fiance, I have like my mom, my sister, like that's like playing poker, but I want to help people and women in poker, and that's why I like doing these events and then having like a ladies only event, and like getting my fiance to potentially play in
yeah,
that and doing content from that is it's only good for poker. And you know what? I wanna delve deeper in because you said before in terms of why you think there's not that many women in poker. I think that's a big aspect of obviously because do hear too many bad stories of that, of women getting like certain stuff said to them. But what was interesting, what you said before was it's the way kind of you like were brought up and you were kind of like in maybe in school or whatever. Do you want to go deeper into that? Because I've always like I know there was this big debate in poker recently about why there's not more women in poker, and I was like thinking about it, and
Well,
I thought the main aspect was obviously that like intimidation, and obviously if you hear these bad stories, obviously you're not going to want to play. But yeah, do you want to maybe go deeper in
yeah,
that and what you think?
yes. Give me 1 minute. Well, why not many women are playing poker? Why is that ratio going down from a 10% to a 5%, even 3% sometimes? Well, one one issue can be that whoever is making women promotions is a man, you know. I got from a very famous brand this nice box with some candles and stuff. I mean, nice, but what I want are tickets to participate in the big games. I don't want like little gifts, you know? So I thought whoever is making this promotion is a man, like thinking what a woman wants. And actually, what we want is to jump into the bigger buy ins, have more opportunities, more tickets, more satellites. Um, so I think also my project Ladies First in Malta is quite successful because we do live satellites for like 20 euros just to teach women to play, like workshops to learn how to play poker. And then you go to the big arena, which is during the Malta Poker Festival, Ladies First, and you get in there for 20 euros. You get a 150 euro ticket. So I think that's very successful because you are teaching them how to play and then they go to a bigger event where they can win more money. I love what a girl told me one time. I said, "No, I'm not playing poker tonight. I'd rather buy some shoes." And she's like, "Well, you can buy 10 pairs of shoes if you win." So I thought that was very cute and exemplifying of what the female mentality a little bit is because of conditioning. It's not because we are mentally inferior. It's because society has conditioned the female role to be risk averse, home, taking care of children, ill people, etc. I mean, it's a conditioning trait. It's a social behavior completely. It's not any kind of mental capacity. Or when the debate goes there, it's so sad to see. But it's conditioning, social conditioning. Also, mothers like me. I mean, it would be great in my dream life. A ladies' event will have a nursery space so women can leave the kids for 4 hours and see how the game goes. And because sometimes it's impossible to play because you have to take care of the kids. And the
Mhm.
dads, shout out to all those involved dads. I love it. Present dads, good stuff. But keep in mind, and it's even how we say, men help, you know. What does that mean? They're not the sole backbone of the house. I mean, the mother is, and that is very taxing on us that want to play poker for long hours, late nights. You have a triple work. You have poker, real back office work, and you have the children. So, I mean, all these factors complicate being a professional player for women. I wish myself as well. I love to play. I wish I can play more, but I know it's a commitment of late nights, you know. So it's when can I do it? When can I squeeze time to do it? So I imagine people that are not necessarily so embedded in the industry that it's even harder to take off a Friday night, probably Saturday night too, if you make day two and so on, and even Sunday afternoon for the final table. You have to be very committed. And I am not too sure women can afford this time off. We are busy
Yeah.
making the lunch boxes for the week, making food for the week if we work. It's really, really, really taxing on women. The way society is built. And poker exemplifies that. For me, I don't know if you've seen that movie Pi, that you see the number pi everywhere. I'm like that in poker. Like I see every connection with poker and why some societal issues are the way they are. You can find that in different poker personalities, the aggressive, the dominant, the one that leads the hand. You can see that in life, in politics. So it's pretty fascinating. And yeah, why there are not, and it's crazy because when you think, how can poker grow? It's not with men anymore. All the guys that have online accounts, they have them. I think female population is what can make poker rise. So we have to celebrate women that are doing really well so the others see that it's a possibility. I am impressed that in my 25-year poker career, there's not so many women in poker in the industry itself, like running tours, like I run my own tour. Like I don't see them. Like I don't have that reference. And and I am surprised because it's such a beautiful, profitable industry if you want it. So why more ladies wouldn't follow my path? It's a bit shocking for me. And it has to do a lot with the conceptions attached to poker, our space as female leaders in the industry, and so on. There's a lot of jobs for human resources, but strategy in online gaming is still segregated to men. The ratios are
Yeah.
abysmal, and also the pay gap is real. Women get paid less than men. It's a fact. Um, and this International Women's Day that happened Saturday. I mean, I just don't want it to make it a pink muffin celebration. It's actually to remember everyone that we are still getting paid less. We are still
Yeah.
struggling. In the UK alone, 36% of the female population that was working during the pandemic couldn't get back to work. They just couldn't. It's like a post war syndrome. You were taking females during the pandemic were working 20 hours more per week than their male counterparts. So when you factor that in, that yeah, we were all in the pandemic, but women had to fold clothes, do the dinner, uh, homeschool the kids, online schooling, and sometimes take care of an ill parent or an ill relative that had COVID. When you put that into hours of the day versus the male counterpart, it was very unfair. This pandemic was very taxing on women. So a lot of women couldn't return to the workplace. They just couldn't. And that's a pity. That's a pity that society taxes women more. And I am a complete believer of that. I see it in my daily life. And it's unfair. It's unfair that they want us to be career women, but also you have to be a great mom. And also you have to, it's impossible to juggle so many personalities and aspects of
That's the thing. I was listening to a podcast and it was I can't remember which one, but it was I think it was a comedian. I think Andrew Schultz actually. He's just had a baby. He like struggled to have a baby, and his wife, he said, was super successful, but just decided her calling was to be a mum, and she just wants to be a mum. And obviously they're in a privileged position where obviously they've got a lot of money, right? But he said society now, like it's kind of like frowned upon that she wants to be just a mum. And it's like, but then yeah, but then the women that then, like you said, they try and juggle being a mum, but then also a career woman, but then they're not paid as much. Like it's just it's
yeah,
crazy. To me, it's just crazy.
yeah, let's underline there just a mom because I mean, being a mother is the backbone of society as we speak. And it's the hardest, not paid, not recognized job. I see so many burnout women out there and so many women without support. And it's the most taxing job, hands down, to be a mom. And
Yeah.
it's very difficult, but it's very beautiful. And it's very important also. It's where all our values and collide, and it's unfair, definitely. So I am very verbal about that, and poker is a
Yeah.
great example of that. How society treats women and how the poker industry treats women, I find the parallels mind-blowing. But again,
How can we change this, Savon? How can just in poker, but then because that I grew up with a mum, I stay at home mum, and I had an amazing childhood, and like in the future, me and my fiance want kids, and we want to be we both don't want to be both working full time and not spend time with the kids. Like we want to work hard now while we're young to then obviously have kids in the future and bring them up well. But how do we change that society
I
conditions,
mean,
and how do we actually get more women into
I
poker?
thought the
Because
change
like you
was
said, I
going
think
to
it's
be
important.
sooner in my life. I thought now in my 40s, late 40s, I was going to be sitting down with 7 women in a table, and it's not so fast change, but it is
Yeah.
happening. I'm a positivist and an optimist and a dreamer, and it's happening. It is happening. And also, look, in Malta Poker Festival, Roland Boothby, that I adore from the JPI and the Hendon Mob, he's head of partnerships. Great guy, been in the industry forever, like me. And one time he pulled me aside and he said, during a Malta Poker Festival, he said, Yvonne, look, it's the first time I'm sitting on that table and we're 3 guys and 7 women and 8 women and 6 women. So it was a
Mm.
very proud moment that out of the 9 people, 60% were women. It's beautiful. And that really opened my eyes. And I thought it can change. We need to celebrate women. We need to, because also, I mean, part of the way in all these notions are not only swallowed and regurgitated by men, but by women themselves. So we find ourselves putting women down, other female counterparts, we put them down. We do all these practices that, men and women equally, you know we all need to strive for that minorities, such as the female population in poker, gets respect, gets inclusivity, gets their own spaces to practice and not feel threatened. I think we're making good changes. I mean, a few shout outs there, for example, Women's Winter Festival by Poker Stars. What a beautiful event.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
top notch category, top buy ins, really professional environment, and all for women. So shout out to the Poker Stars on that one, leaded by Carrie Jane Craigie. But as well, KJ is a woman, so she's tackling the promotions, thinking, what do we need? I mean, those are the kind of leaders that we need to make more impact and to bring more women in the game. But I
Mhm.
love,
So is that what you think other brands in poker can be doing more in terms of promoting having women's events,
yeah.
promoting women in
I
poker?
mean,
Is that the way to get
yeah,
more
I
women
don't
into poker?
understand why they would plan a live event, a live women's event, and it doesn't have online qualifiers. Why? Like, it's so basic.
Yeah.
So there are a few easy fixes, and the industry is getting there because the industry wants to grow. And the only way to grow it is to get the minorities, stop being minorities, and get the right ratio to have a bigger critical mass for poker. So, I mean, there's a lot to do and it's never ending, but I see some positive aspects. I see that the female players are more solidary than ever with other females. Can you believe it that sometimes when there was an overlay in a live tournament, women wouldn't tell each other because you don't want them to go because you want to take advantage of that overlay for yourself.
Mm.
So you wouldn't distribute the information so it's not accessible to everyone. I'm seeing that changing. I see that women want more
Yeah.
women around to play with, to have sisterhood with. It's so much fun. Just on Friday, I was playing with Kat Arnsby. And I mean, it's so much fun to play with fellow ladies, and then we go for a drink in the break, or we mingle, and it's like being with friends. It's fun. So I think
Yeah.
there's so much to do. I'm a positive person, and I think we're getting that impact somehow. But also having great guys like you, ambassadors that understand this and support women, that's also something that is making the game grow in the female population. I mean, also I have friends where I play poker with, and we share the stories, we share where we're going, and it's beautiful. It's for everyone. I mean,
Mm.
men, women, and that's what's so beautiful, that it's a equal field. You sit down, and it doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, a cat. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All you need to do is kind of know how to play poker. But
Yeah.
and with that basis, anyone can enjoy it. It's an equal level field, so it's super enjoyable. It's one of the few sports that is equal for men and women. So we should take
Yeah,
advantage
yeah.
of that.
That's why when I was like thinking, I was like, because it's not like that. It's a mental game, and I always say like the best poker players in the world are just the ones that have worked harder. Like, then obviously there is luck involved, but if you want to become good at poker, there's because when I was trying to get into poker, I was like, there's professional poker players. There's a reason when people say, oh, it's just gambling. It's like it's not just gambling because there's a reason why there's professional poker players and there's not professional roulette players or blackjack players or slot players, because obviously them games are designed to to play against the casino. This is designed to play against other
Yeah,
players, right? Other humans. And yeah, it is a even playing field, but so like my fiance, let's say, if she wanted to get really good, like I obviously could teach her and she could get better at me than me one day. There's no limit for women, that there is that there's the same limits for men. So I think it's just, yeah, ways like that of women events to get more women into poker. And then the more, maybe more like, yeah, the women there is, then that'll just do a snowball effect of then it becoming more comfortable, more women's events, seeing more women in bigger events. Where and I think as well, like for me growing up, I was like, my idols, I saw like Daniel Negreanu, Phil Ivey and stuff. I was like, I want to inspire, to be like them. So that's why I think like GG done amazing things with Game of Gold, because they had so many like amazing women ambassadors on the
yeah,
show, and they had like a good number of them. It wasn't just like what like Maria Ho. It was obviously you had like Kana, you had Nikita, you had Olga, like yeah, obviously Maria was on them, and Maria ended up winning it. So I think that's important for like for doing stuff like that, because I remember the producer of that show was like, we want to create this to inspire, obviously to get to a wider audience outside of poker, to get more people into poker, but we want to inspire other poker companies to create content like this to then just grow poker. Because that's the thing, like let's say you do a women's event, and like the winter series that Poker Stars did, that obviously they done that to then obviously get more women into poker, which then grows poker. Because like you said, men, there's a lot of men in poker, so how can we grow poker is getting more women into
yeah,
it. So it's just, and it's just a rising
yeah.
tide,
It's
like
simple
it
math.
just,
It's very
if
simple math.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's yeah, I am very passionate about that topic, women in poker, and I think we're doing great changes. We have great people to look up to. You mentioned Maria Ho, Liv Boré with her 2 million score recently.
Yeah,
Vanessa
yeah.
Selbst was my idol at some point. Very and also very kind and approachable leaders in the space. I remember walking to Vanessa Selbst, and she was so generous with her time. So yeah, we have great people to look up to, great female poker players to look up to, and it can just get better. I hope it gets better.
When you talked about like society conditions, I want to just go more deep into you as well, in terms of what makes you different than I think there is just, I don't know if you agree with this, but growing up for me was like, you grow up in school. I always remember saying, someone saying that the school system hasn't changed much from back in the day when we were like factory workers, where you took your shirt in because then that was to teach you to so your shirt wasn't out to then get caught in machines, right? And I do definitely think there's still conditions for people to not take risks, for people to go in the school system to obviously back in the day it was like maybe stay in your family business, which I could have done. Like I had a family business and my family wanted me to stay in that. But I was like, no, like I want to take the risk to quit my job and go into poker to do something I love. Like I've always had the attitude of you live one life, do something you enjoy. But to get to that, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So you do have to take risks. You do have to do stuff that's hard in life. Do you agree with that, Lola? Like society is conditioned to not really take risks and to kind of like do jobs where you don't enjoy, and that's kind of just accepted.
Absolutely. It's what keeps the globe spinning. I mean, we need people to take all these jobs, and not everybody. Society is not equipped to allow everybody to follow their dream. I mean, just 3% of the entertainers make it. That's that's a crazy number. So that's even a harder career, like singer, entertainer. 3% make it. It's hard. But as well, I mean, it also filters dedication and who's dedicated. I mean, when I was growing up, I was fortunate that my father and my mom were always trusting my career decisions. That was not even
Hmm.
questioned. Like, why would I go into poker? They were not concerned. And I think that was great. That allowed me to really
Do you think that's
explore.
where it stems from? Where like my mum and dad were the exact same in my family. But I have so many people message me and go like, I'd really love to get into poker, but my family just don't accept
Exactly.
it. Do you think that's obviously where the first step is that stems from? Because obviously, if you have a dream, but you're young and you are definitely a lot of your values come from obviously respecting your mum and dad and obviously making them happy or making them proud. Do you think that's where the kind of the first step of like
Absolutely. I mean, to
that
to
comes
to
from?
jump a bridge like this, take a leap like this, yeah, it's not easy. There's a lot of ties, society ties. I mean, with everything, we're living in such strange times. 2025, and still people having issues with many things. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
the stuff we're seeing in the world, where there's right now in the USA with Trump and his policies, completely anti kindness towards his biggest allies, Canada, and so on. And he's making all these very hard measures. Like, are we living in a kind world right now? Not really. Kindness is not the value right now. So, yeah, I mean, pair that up to economical needs and so on. Yeah, poker is not really your preferred career choice, and it's a tough path. I mean, I have people telling me all the time too, I want to be a pro player. What would you advise? Yeah, it's not for everyone. And if you're not, careful, and you don't have a time limit of how much you're going to give this dream, like, also don't get caught up doing something that is not good for you. I mean, there's many things. That's why I also like
That's the thing. I always say,
that's why I also like
sorry to interrupt
recreational
you.
poker, because you take a
Yeah.
holiday. It's not really uh, something that life determining.
That's why I always say like when people ask me like, oh, they always ask me like, what would you play, tournaments or cash? And I'm like, do whatever you enjoy. Like I've always just enjoyed tournaments more than cash. But then it's like, would you recommend being a professional poker player? I really want to do. And it's like, it's not for everyone, and it's same with like being any form of or anything. People see the positives and they don't. People aren't open with the negatives, and I get that is just social media. People see people's life and go, "Oh, they live the perfect life." No, they don't, because on social media, everyone just shows their good. They don't show the bad, and that's why I'm open with like I've been on downswings. Like I don't enjoy playing poker now as much as I did when I played for fun, but that's okay because any job it becomes a job when you do something full time. But that's why though I go through phases where I really enjoy playing online. So this month I'll play a lot of online, but then I will just get probably a bit bent out, and then I'll go to Brazil and play some live poker, and then I'll play the Malta Poker Festival, and I'll enjoy that. And I think if you can't go all in anything, but you really enjoy it, just keep it as a hobby. That's what I'd recommend. And I always say to people, like, poker should be seen as a hobby, like any other hobby. People see it as gambling, but I always say, like, if you play golf for a hobby, you pay a lot of money to play
Yeah.
that hobby. You don't expect anything back in return, but poker can be a thing where you can actually maybe break even at your hobby, or you can make a little bit of money at your hobby. But it should be seen as a hobby that people go and spend their money and enjoy, and like that money's gone. You should think of that money being gone, but you're paying for the experience.
Exactly.
And this is why the SiGMA Poker Festival, it's not necessarily coming to make lots of money. It's coming to make memories. It's coming to make connections. It's coming to make friends, like to have fun. And that's what any hobby should be about.
Yes. And I'm also hoping that the Sigma Poker Tour serves as a window for poker players. Like, there's a lot of gaming companies that are going to be watching us. So I'm hoping that maybe they're interested in sponsoring someone, or, that more business will grow out of this experience. That's also my
So you can't like we talked about before in terms of getting more women into poker. It's just like, what is it? Rising tide, something about rising boats. It just increases everything, and like when you're in the spot where it helps everyone and helps each other. Like you said, when we live in a world now where there is a lot of craziness going on, and a lot of cruel going on, and that's why, like you see, like you said, poker is obviously a reflection of normal life. Like you're gonna get people, idiots that are just gonna say stuff, horrible stuff to women. But if we can create an environment, which you have already with the Malta Poker Festival, but then carry on to the Sigma, where you create an environment with just good, positive, lovely
Yeah.
people, that people can just come and we just have a great time and create memories. That's what life's about. Like that, and obviously there may be, again, some idiots may find themselves at these events, but if you have majority of people that are good people, hopefully like us, and obviously like the ambassadors that are going, then that's just what's going to be good for life, but also for poker as an
Also, the
industry.
infrastructure, like, um, the events are structured so that any disrespect to any minority or this will be punished at the tables. I mean, we are safeguarding the environment, right? I mean, we're run by
Yeah.
TDA rules, and they just recently implemented one. Actually, they made a small amendment to precisely protect inclusivity at the tables and make sure nobody's bullied or discriminated or yeah, these
Yeah.
things. So
That's good, because that's what you hear. Like when you hear about like the women's stories where someone's like a man said something to them. Um, I remember it was Abby Poker, who I'm really good friends with. She used to work with Poker News in the past, and she actually recorded it and she sent it into this like poker in like influencer group that we have on Discord. And she was like, guys, I just want some advice on like what do you think I should do about this, and blah blah blah. And I'm sat there watching it, going like, there's 8 other men or 8 other people just sat there, and I think it mostly was men, and they're not saying anything.
women.
Like again, it's like about me educating other men in poker to be like, listen, if something is said by another man at the poker table to not whether it's another man or whether it's a woman, you need to say something. Like I know it's easier sometimes to not say something because maybe people aren't confrontational, but you can't be doing that. Like you can't just sit there and let that happen. So obviously I'm not a woman. I've not experienced these things, but what I can do as an influencer in or as an ambassador of poker is to is to give advice and be like, listen guys, if something is said, you need to say something, or you
Call
get the
the floor.
floor
Call
and you
the
explain
floor.
to them.
At all times,
Yeah,
call the floor. Don't even bother. Just
yeah,
call the floor and report. Report.
yeah.
Watch. Report is good, And yeah, I appreciate that you think that way because it is real, guys and ladies. It is real. It's happening. Women get
Yeah.
berated, and there's a lot of issues happening. So it's good that we're all vigilant because we want poker to grow. We want poker more mainstream.
Yeah.
The more mainstream, the better we get paid, the safer it is. Like I would love poker to have commercials on TV, that
Mhm.
it would be a completely legal. regulated industry completely. No gray areas, which is what we're having right now. Some regulations, some gray areas. So yeah, that's in benefit of all of us that want poker as a hobby or as a career or a poker organization or poker development as a career choice, like myself. So
Yeah.
yeah, no,
So at these events, Yvonne, do you get to play much poker? I know you really enjoy
I don't
playing, but
play.
obviously you're
No, I can't
you. I know
ever
you love
play
playing,
my
but do you get
events.
to play
No, the
much?
main events I can't play because I'm too busy,
No.
and it would be a bit weird the
Yeah.
main event. But sometimes I ask permission to play the ladies event, and if everyone is okay
Yeah.
with it, because I wouldn't have. Uh, I caught my back end rights. Let's say restrict my back end access, and then I join the tournament, and it's quite fun. I, I love to do it.
So how like when you talked about you have like 3 kids, like you're now running 2 events,
Bye.
like how 5 events? How do you like how do you do it? Like what I'm doing at the moment, like I'm 27 and me and my fiance want kids within probably but we said maybe the next 5 years we'll just smash work and we'll just build up as much money as possible and we'll try and achieve all our goals then. And then we can take maybe a step back to have kids. That's our plan because we know how hard it's gonna be. Like how do you for anyone like watching this, like how do you do it and what tips do you give people that like are going through similar things. I look at you with so much respect and go, I
Thank
don't know
you.
how you do that.
Well, I am surrounded by a great team. I mean, I don't do this alone. I take the front women role at Malta Poker Festival, but it's not only me. It's a lot of people behind me, a lot of fantastic, amazing, talented people everywhere I have. My own husband is adorable. He's takes care a lot of the house. He's a cash game player, but he we have a very good teamwork. And yeah, I ask for help a lot. I ask for a lot of help. I'm not shy to ask for help. And also, it's not all perfect. I used to be a perfectionist cooking, it was perfect. Now, if it's hot dogs, it's hot dogs. It doesn't matter. It's and just, I do everything with a lot of love and passion. If I don't, I take my time away but if I'm in it, I'm in it involved. I don't go halfways. And I think that's
Yeah,
a little bit the what we were talking about, going all in into your projects or
yeah,
really trusting that process. And yeah, that's what I do. I have a great team around me. I ask for a lot of help. I'm a good team player. I'm a good captain, I think. And I have a lot of help. And it's just I thought about retiring, but this is just starting for me. I mean, every year it gets more exciting than the other. So I don't think that plan of yours of retiring is going to work. It doesn't work like
yeah.
that. It's not that you
No,
have not
I don't mean
yeah,
retiring.
but
No,
you have
I don't
to
mean
you can
retiring
do
because
it all. You can do it all.
yeah.
That's for sure. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So I tell this
Is
to
the key doing something you enjoy? Like, is your philosophy just constantly doing stuff you enjoy, and then you can do it as much and as long as you want? Because like, as I'm starting to get older, I'm realizing that if you just follow your passion and follow, I really enjoy coming up with an idea. My stuff is like content, and then trying to implement that idea. And it sounds like you have a similar
oh well,
philosophy.
I mean, work for me is invigorating. I mean, I get energy from work. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I definitely that's a key aspect of loving what you do, your craft. And after how many years I've been doing this? 27 years. Yeah, I haven't gotten bored. It's always something new, a new project, a new idea, a new spark. So this year I built
Yeah.
2025, I built Costa Rica Poker Festival in January and now SiGMA. So I'm very excited. I I was comfortable the past years. Malta Poker Festival is growing, But 2025, I've tested myself. Like I told you, January, I'm looking at that hole thinking, oh my God, nobody's going to show up. This is going to be a flop. Why did I do this? All these things, not sleeping at night. This is 2025 for me. So I'm hoping Costa Rica was a success. I loved it so much. And
Mhm,
so I'm hoping Brazil is gonna be equally great. And Justin, oh, Star is born. These little projects are born.
mhm.
And that's invigorating because it gives jobs to many people as well. In Costa Rica, I told you I got so much pride out of being able to give a good bonus to dealers and floormen. That was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really invigorating for sure.
Do you know when you talked about the risk there? I think like when we talked about like society conditions, I think we're conditioned to not risk, to not take risks because it's uncomfortable. And I think a lot of the successful people you hear now on like obviously podcasts or like videos, it's like that uncomfortable feeling is what you actually need to strive for because that's when you then make progress and that's when you then achieve like things that other people don't achieve. Obviously, you said you didn't sleep at night when you were like worrying about this Costa Rica event, but do you thrive and do you enjoy that like almost the risk and the thrill
Well, I
of
wish
that?
it could be easier for sure. But in the end, yeah, in the end, when you have, you close the final table and you're like, they showed up, everyone got paid, everyone is happy, the dealers, the casino, the hotel got their money, everything is full circle. So, yeah, that's invigorating. The process itself, maybe I should worry less because sometimes I worry too much. Um,
I always say that, but I think that's good because I think it's good and bad because I'm the same. Like I sometimes don't sleep at night if I'm worried about something, but I think that keeps you on your toes, and that is what then motivates you to then achieve things that maybe other people don't
Yes,
achieve.
and learn. Learning is great. I mean, when you're in a comfort zone and uh, you stop caring a little bit, but when you're learning and you're worried and you're responsible of a certain project and you don't know the outcome of this project, how it's going to turn out, I think that makes you grow a lot.
I thought of an analogy before when you were talking about you remind me of someone that let's say you're playing poker and you lose a big all in and you go down to one chip. Most people would probably just walk away and wouldn't have the wouldn't like then want to build it back up and wouldn't want to kind of and wouldn't have any hope. But it sounds like you're one of these type of people that you're left with one chip, you have hope that you'll spin it back up and win the tournament.
Yes.
When you talked about before about when you were doing Battle of Malta originally and people talked down on you and said it was a stupid idea, it sounds like you are that type of person to for that to motivate you even more. Where does that come from? Like, what? Why? Because I don't think that's normal. I don't think most people in society have that. I think it's a very successful trait that successful people have. Where does that come
Well,
from? Do you
I mean,
think?
imagine that at some point in my life, I lost it all. The same year I lost my grandfather, which was a big support in my life. Like I lost my grandfather, I lost Battle of Malta, I lost my partner at that time. I thought, they sent me to court for a non-compete clause that was complete rubbish, but this stopped me. Like I didn't have money. I came and my card was blocked. I didn't have milk for the children, on a Friday night. That because I'm an expat living in Malta all alone with the two kids at that time. So when you hit that rock bottom, when you know that stuff, and it's very few people that hit rock bottom like that. I hit rock bottom. I said, what else can happen now? Nothing. I mean,
Yeah,
next is
yeah,
dance. This is just,
yeah.
it's just as low as it can get. Uh, I mean, fortunately, I was healthy, but I imagine also a curveball like being unhealthy or having a disease or, you know, but it was very difficult for me. And then once you hit rock bottom like that, I think you get this kind of mindset, and I don't think I've been there before, so it can happen again, and it's just how you get back up. That's the only thing that matters. No matter how many mistakes you've made, or how many issues you've had, or how many wrongdoings you've done, you can always get back up. You can always, there's always a new day, a new dawn. So that kind of mindset is, I think it's a good thing. If not, I would, you
Mm,
get depressed and you just close the door and that's it. No, you have to strive for, especially with the children. The children have given me an incredible drive, thirst for life. The Costa Rica Poker Festival, I did it because I want my children to have a closer relationship with my country. So I thought, well, maybe if I build a big tour here, we'll have to go once a year, and maybe one day one of them will be interested in it. So,
yeah.
so that's my also a driver, that my children will know my Latin country and where we come from.
That's beautiful. Just talk to me about how many years did you grow up in Costa Rica? What age did you leave Costa
I
Rica?
left Costa Rica when I was 17, 18. I started leaving. I was
Mhm,
hired as, I used to be a model when I was in my 20s, a catwalk model,
mhm,
because I'm quite tall. And yeah, so I would fly a lot out to Mexico, to the US, New York, Miami. So I was an 18-year-old traveling all over the world. Then I started living in Mexico because I landed a job as a MTV VJ, video jockey. That was a
wow.
job back in the day. And and I loved it. And I was saving for my education parallel to that. So when I had enough money, I paid for my master's degree in Spain. So I've been out of Costa Rica since I'm 16, 17, very independent. Poor my parents.
Mhm.
I don't understand how. Now I understand that I'm a mom, how cheeky I was. I used to leave, get on a plane, not call, not think, reckless. Now, I now that I have kids, I know that it's very taxing, the worry of a parent. So I apologize to my parents for all those nights I made them worried. Now I'm good because I barely want to go out. I love to be at home. So yeah,
What was growing up in Costa Rica like?
fantastic. It's paradise.
Yeah,
I mean, the people. What I like more about Costa Rica is the people. The people,
yeah,
my peers are so much fun. Now that I went to Costa Rica and I hear them on the cash games talking and making fun, I thought, what a fun culture. It's not the same. Every culture has their things. But Costa Rica, they have very good sense of humor. It's a very
mhm,
stylish sense of humor, very quiet, but when you hit that nickname or that note, it's really enjoyable, that kind of Spanish. So I had a lot of fun listening to the cash game players. 2 weeks before I was doing the event, or more, 2 months, I actually spent in Costa Rica studying the market, to be able to deploy this. And the fun I had at the cash games was so funny. Like, how they treat
yeah,
each other. It's maybe because it's my own language, so I can
yeah,
really put a lot of fun sense to the words. But those guys are funny, man. So I really had fun with the cash game players in Costa Rica. That was, I think, the highlight of these past years, was listening to my language and in such funny ways, and all the nicknames of the hands, La Niquita, la this, the that, because of this. Oh God, how
mhm,
funny. So yeah, I had a great time. Costa Rica is an amazing place to grow up. But keep in mind, Costa Rica is not that resort, quiet beach you see on the postcards, right? There's a city called San Jose, and that city is wild. It's a
yeah,
jungle. It's like, it's tough, and this is also something that worries me a lot, that Costa Rica is super expensive. I don't understand how people can live in San Jose, honestly. The supermarket is 35% more expensive than Europe. It's crazy. So
crazy.
it's a tough city. It's a tough city. It's like Brazil in a way. I find a lot of parallels
Yeah.
with Brazil that if you're, you know, the nice area, you find the best, but if you go to the favelas, you see what struggling is there. So there's that
Mm,
aspect of me being Latin America that is full of contradictions. Here in Europe, people complain here in Malta, oh, traffic was terrible, 20 minutes. Oh, come on. There
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
traffic is terrible and somebody tried to shoot me, actually. There was a guy
yeah.
that shot me.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think your mentality comes from growing up in a place like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
that's my founding bricks. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, the things that can be really terrible for someone, I've seen some and more and experienced some and
yeah.
more as well. So I don't get easily shocked. Like I'm very positive. As long as you have food and your love of your family, anything can be conquered.
Yeah, it's amazing because when I think about like when we talked about MMA, like a lot of the greatest UFC and MMA fighters were from like South America, from Brazil, and like I definitely think there's a aspect of like you said, growing up in the favelas. Same with like the footballers as well. Like that's gotta it's gotta, especially as an MMA fighter, going into a cage and fighting another human being. Like you've got to have some form of mentality to do
Oh,
that.
yeah. I mean, the MMA fighters, I'm fascinated by these guys. I'm fascinated because the level of discipline you have to have, it's intense. That job is intense. And yeah, I mean, you see the Brazilian players, as you're saying, the soccer players, the Brazilians are very, very successful because they come from nothing, like from nothing. And then when you see them making like Neymar Jr., what an adorable character. Um,
Mhm.
and how proud, you can feel of yourself and of your country. And, they never leave their roots. They're living the high life in Europe now, Neymar in Emirates, making millions, but he's still Brazilian. And when he goes to Brazil, he takes a lot of our influencers have a picture with Neymar, and we were having fun the other day saying like, in order to be an influencer in Brazil, you have to have that one picture with Neymar. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Neymar, great guy, signing shirts for the charity project this past December. Like, I couldn't be thinking he's a nicer person. Like, how nice, like taking time, at that level. And sometimes the managers don't want them to take the time to sign shirts for the charity in Gozo, but he did, and it's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing. And yes, coming from uh, from that background and I am from San Jose. It's a very tough city. I was born
yeah,
middle class, but struggling middle class, like it's gotten very expensive, and the bridge between the rich and super poor, and that's so sad. That gap hurts my heart so much. Like, you have these mansions in Costa Rica, 10-room mansion that nobody needs 10 rooms, and your neighbor is doesn't have food, can't feed the
yeah.
children
It's
today.
crazy.
So those contrasts make Latin America a very special, interesting place, because also the values I've seen from the poor people, like people that are struggling with problems, and you see the values they have, is like quality, quality of the
Oh,
heart. I was
yeah.
in Cuba one time. They didn't have an oven. I was like, how are they going to do the cake? They were doing a cake for a birthday, and it was not even the mother doing the cake because the mother didn't have the money. It was a neighbor doing the quinceañera cake for a girl in a pressure cooker. Can you believe this? Like, how hard?
Wow,
Yeah, it's because they didn't have an oven. So a lot of the things
it's
we take
crazy.
for granted, that people in the world struggling for even water, clean potable water, going every day for clean potable water, while we are complaining our nice crystal houses. That's another topic.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, exactly. So, in terms of just like finishing up, what are your what are your goals and what are your like future ideas like in terms of this Sigma event, in terms of your own events? What of your like ambitions for the future? Because obviously, like you've told, you've been super ambitious in the past, you've been super successful. What do you hope? Obviously, we've got the event in Sao Paulo and Malta this year, but you talked about in the future events, having in them in different countries. Like, what are your, yeah, like I said, future ambitions, and what countries would you love to go in the future?
Exactly. I'd love Sigma Poker Tour to grow. And, these are the first seeds. So it's a lot of pressure to see what we're planting. But hopefully, what we're planting is full of values, full of good stuff. And keep in mind, Sigma is a global company. So we are going global. So our next stop should be Manila, Philippines, to have an Asian stop as well. And that one is challenging because the regulations and the permissions, but we're on
Mm,
it. We're working on it. And that's all it takes. Work. You show up, get the work done, things happen.
yeah. I asked another people on the podcast in terms of what's the best places they've been in the world, not only to play poker, but as a like holiday destination as well. What are your favorite places you've played poker
Hey, can you
or done an
believe it?
event in the
This
world?
sounds like it's not real, but it is. Favorite place to play poker? Malta. I love it here. I
Yeah.
absolutely love
Yeah.
it so much. I love the food, the
Yeah.
restaurants. I can walk out of there
How long have you been in Malta now?
20,
How many
20
years?
plus years. Yeah.
Because you hear people like me and my fiance have been here 2 years, and I honestly, this is no word of a lie. I came here one day to visit. We were thinking about moving. I fell in love with Malta on the first day. There's just something about it, the vibe. Like you said, the food, there's certain stuff you can say about the weather, the food, the people, but like for me, there's just something again that can listen to, like also like my soul, and like there's a vibe about it that I just was like, I was meant to be here.
Listen,
Like
Malta is
this
a
was meant to
highly
be.
energetical place. Energy
Yeah,
wise, there's something going on here. I feel
yeah,
energized. I love the
100%.
vibe here. Yeah. Malta is a highly energetical place. There's been,
Hmm.
it's been ancient civilizations before even Stone Age was done. It
Hmm.
was here in Malta, the megalithic and all that. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
so I think this island is very, very special. Again, it has had so many cultures, the British, the French, the Ottomans, Mongolians, everybody has been here. So
yeah,
I think that has developed a very interesting culture. And for us
yeah,
expats, I mean, I love it here. This is home.
yeah,
I'm Costa Rican. I was born Costa Rican. I love my country, but I love to be an adoptive daughter of this beautiful island. And this island,
yeah.
I mean, when people criticize, not every country is perfect. Not we're nothing is perfect.
Of
So it
course,
has.
of
But when
course.
I hear the critics about Malta, it's like nothing. Like you have no idea. Yeah, it's not as green. We're a rock surrounded by sea, but sea is nature. So you have to enjoy the sea.
Yeah,
If you don't enjoy the sea, you go and live in Romania, for example, that has beautiful green areas.
exactly.
But if you're here, you're here and you like the sea and it's summer in Malta, I can't wait also.
Oh, it's
It's
beautiful. That
beautiful.
I think that's the main criticism. A lot of people that I hear don't like Malta are people from like the green countries that there's a lot of nature and stuff. But like I've came from that. Like the Isle of Man had a lot of nature in England as well. Like the Lake District and Wales we used to go to. But like it's just about what you love and what you enjoy, and it's refreshing to hear that after 20 years you still love it, because you hear a lot of people going, oh, it's a bit too small. Like you kind of get sick of it after a few years. But I like, nah, I can't say I'm starting to fall in love with it even
Yeah,
more.
even
The more
more,
time we're here.
even more. There's stuff I
Yeah,
haven't seen. I haven't seen St. Petersburg. I have to go. So I'm excited to do a lot
yeah.
of things this summer. Oh no, I love this island. And the people, they're so cute. They're so beautiful and
Oh,
so
the people are
so
beautiful. Yeah,
good and kind and I still feel in
yeah,
Malta, of course, it's gotten bigger and so on, but I still feel like a town girl. And I love that feeling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
tell you one thing, in San Jose is a dangerous city. San Jose is dangerous, my city. So I'm always on flight mode, kind of. So one time when I was in
Mhm.
Malta 10 years ago, whatever, somebody knocked on my like this, caught my attention, and I turned around like, what? It's like €10 fell from your pocket. Here you go. Like, yeah, that I think that sums it up. I mean, these people are beautiful.
My friend was one of my best friends was going to play the Malta Poker Festival. I think this was last year. He had two bullets in terms of money. So I think he had €1,000 in his wallet. He lost his wallet on the way to walking there. Went to the police station. Someone handed it in.
Yes.
What other city or what other country do you get that
That's
€1,000
incredible.
back?
That doesn't happen exactly. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we found an influencer's camera, everything. Somebody returned it. I mean, it's super safe here. It's one of the safest countries in
Yeah.
the world. So I love that feeling. I mean, I love that feeling so much. And I think everything is near and SiGMA offices are here. So I'm living a really good life in this island.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I feel exactly the same. But yeah, no, I think that was kind of everything that we had to cover. I think the only thing we didn't speak about was the event in Malta in September. Is that going to be similar to the event in
Yeah,
Brazil?
it's
Like,
gonna
how is
be
that going to?
similar. We're
Are,
gonna
are you?
come out with a bigger marketing rollout for that one. We're fixing that
Yeah,
as we speak. But I think if we can focus on Brazil, that's our main goal now.
yeah. So that is, like I said, going to be from. So is it the 7th till the
Yeah.
14th or the 9th till the
Uh,
14th? Yeah, because I got it on the 9th to the
nine,
14th. I think
nine,
that's when the
nine,
actual poker
nine.
events. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe I don't know how you write
So
the
yeah,
bio of the podcast, but maybe if you can write my handlers, it would be good. Like my
yeah.
Instagram, I will send them to you right away.
Yeah, no problem. I'll leave that in the link down below. But if you want to share with the people what where they can follow you and where they can find you
Oh,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Well, we have a very active page on Facebook, the Malta Poker Festival on Facebook. And you can find me on Instagram, Ivonne Montealegre, on X, Costa Grisen, on Facebook, Ivonne Montealegre as well. And also, SiGMA Poker Tour has a web page that is very complete with everything you need to know.
And then how can people obviously we're like actually yeah, they're just under 4 weeks away from the event in Sao Paulo. If people want to buy a
Oh,
package
yeah. I
or
have the
kind of
CPA for
register,
that.
like obviously I'll leave a link in the bio, but
Great.
um is it like how can people do that? So you go on the
Yeah,
link
you
and
go
then you
on the
kind
link
of
and buy the
choose the
package or
what you
even the
want.
buy-in. We have only buy-in
Yeah.
option. Yeah. SiGMA super organized.
Yeah. And then at the event, in terms of like how to buy in, so you can obviously do that online before the
Yeah.
event, but actual at the event for like the cash
Yeah, we
games
will
and for
have
tournament
Luxon
buy-ins.
Pay, we will have card and cash.
Yeah, great. Just so so people have know the options and stuff.
Yeah,
But I'm super excited. Thank you again for choosing me as the ambassador because I'm super proud to represent this amazing
it
company,
was fun.
to do amazing things with you. Like we talked about today, like it's inspired me even more to want to get more women into poker, to like the Sigma Foundation to just do good in this industry.
I
And
will
working with
send you
people like
an
yourself. Yeah.
agenda very soon, okay? There's because you're gonna
Yeah.
be in Brazil before. There's one event the day before the tournament starts that maybe you want to join, where we lay the bricks
Yeah.
of the school with the Sigma Foundation. So maybe
Oh,
Jody and you
yeah,
wanna
that'd be
cover that.
amazing. Yeah, yeah, that I'd love to do that. Yeah, stuff like that. Like I said, like I'm classed as a professional poker player, but it kind of like I said, I do love playing it, but just playing a game every single day for me isn't my like calling in life. My calling in life, I think I've realized, is helping people like yourself, but also just like doing helping people, but also like doing stuff I enjoy. And then so if it's kind of do stuff like that, that's a win-win.
Mhm.
Then that's what excites me in the future to do. And obviously that like we're doing with the Sigma poker events.
Okay, super. Super. So I'll send you an agenda and we'll get rolling for Brazil.
Amazing. Like I said, guys, all the links will be down in the description to follow Ivonne, to follow the SiGMA Poker Tour events. Hopefully see some of you at the event in Sao Paulo or in Malta later on in the year. I'll also be at the Malta Poker Festivals in Malta. And yeah, Ivonne, thank you so
Thank you,
much for coming on
Lucas.
the
It was a
podcast.
great time. Thank you.
Thank you. See you
See you
soon.
soon.